And I just want to say, Dan Fogelman, Sterling K. Brown, James Marsden, come to the front of the class. Julianne, come on to the front of the class and accept your award. Okay? Because when I tell you this was a sleeper, I mean, I did not expect Paradise to be this damn good. And I just want to say, for the record, this is how you do a finale. This is how you do a season finale for your freshman season, right? Not knowing if you're going to be renewed for a second season. This, again, is how you give resolution and also leave us on a cliffhanger, in case you don't get a season 2. But we don't have to worry about that because Paradise has gotten a season 2. And y'all, let's get into this finale that was finaleing. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, love up on it, give along, need it. My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Come on in, back to talk about Paradise finale of season 1, y'all, and it exceeded my expectations, honey, because not only did you get to dip, okay, you gave us suspense, you gave us intrigue, you gave us a backstory, honey, and it all made sense. So I'm gonna go back, I will tell you, and rewatch this entire series knowing what I know now and look for all of the clues and breadcrumbs that I know that they've given us. So in this episode, we get the full breakdown on what really and it was nothing of the sort, nothing that I expected. Now, you guys remember early in the season, we see an incident where Xavier risks his life protecting the president. And we saw this man who was pretending to be a sound guy pull out the blue, honey, pow pow, gets Xavier. Xavier saves President Cal's life, right? But we never really dove into who this man was, why he did these things, or what was going on. And so in this episode, we get the backstory of a librarian, okay? But the librarian was not always a librarian. The librarian was a project manager on the excavation dig before the Paradise as we know it was formed, right? These were in the original days. Y'all remember in earlier episodes, Sinatra had recruited little Blondie to come down there and do this project. Well, of course they had to have a crew to excavate because we're living underneath the surface and we've got to remove everything to build this paradise, right? This Truman Show-esque environment underground. And so he's project managing. He's got a crew of all, it's seemingly mostly black men or POCs, right? That on there. And, you know, he's just going through it. Okay. And he realizes after making friends with some of the guys, and you guys have to help me with that, because were there implications of something more between the librarian and one of the gentlemen? Y'all help me out in the comments below, because I'm like, am I reading this wrong? Was just this, doting and adoring friendship, or was there more to the story? But he, gets close to his crew. They're 24/7 down there. They're living together. They're working together. And he realizes, learning to play cards, they're sharing their food with him. And he just loves his crew, namely this. Okay. And so one of the crew guys gets sick one day. He brings it back to Blondie like, this is, it's deadly. Like, if people work around this hazardous material, it will eventually take them. And the guy was like, okay, yeah, I'll handle it. But my question to you is, will life ever be sustainable with the, down there? They're like, yeah, it's only early exposure. The people who are doing the excavating will be the ones. And so the blonde guy's like, I'll handle it. Project manager's kind of trusting that it's going to be okay. Not really, So the next day he comes to work, he can't get in the gate. His badge don't work. And so he, gets fired, and he kind of becomes obsessed with this situation because you're sending all of these men to the slaughter. The blondie was like, well, anyway, Just forget this, forget you ever saw this, go on and live the rest of your life. And the librarian cannot do that. He is fixated, obsessed. He's trying to call oh boy, night crew, and like, you know, but the call not being answered. And so he turns into this obsessed person who is now on a mission that the president needs to tell the truth to the public, because whatever you guys are building, whatever you guys are doing, it's killing people. You need to tell the American people what's going on. So ultimately, he is the one who's made the attempt on President Cal's, and he's like, you need to tell them, you need to tell them. So we get all that backstory. He is sent to a supermax in Colorado. And of course, as the world is breaking, they get out. Okay, after he's called oh boy, who's told him there's nothing that can be done. He's dying, and he's like, you know, I know, but is there something I can do? And it was like heartbreak. That's why, again, I'm trying to understand the dynamic of their relationship. But baby, he gets out, gives himself a clean shave, and he's like, well, they have this place in Colorado. I need to be down, honey. He unalives this couple, takes their passes, go to the gas station, sees this woman eating her problems away, her fears and tears, and he enlists her to go with him. And so basically they assume the identity of this couple who were supposed to be able to go into the paradise, and he resumes life there as a librarian, and she works in the diner. The scandal of it all. So when Cal is in his bathrobe wanting to make this mixtape for his son the night before he passes, the librarian sees, and the librarian is like, I get a second chance to take you out. And my thing is, this is tragic because it's like we always look at things from the surface. Just general people, right? You blame Cal because he's the president and he's supposed to have this autonomy, right? And this complete control, when in actuality, he doesn't. All of these decisions were made for Cal, and he's just the one who of it. I will give Cal, you know, he knew something was coming, but in his last moments to make the X on the cigarette pack, to put the code in there, to make sure everything lined up, Cal was actually, I mean, he's the underrated character in the show for me. And so, of course, the librarian takes him out. While all this is happening, the counselor and Xavier are coming to a conclusion about what's really going on, what's behind this, because as we know, the unalivers DNA was not from someone underground, of course, because he assumed the identity. And so he goes to the library. That guy knocks him over the head because, of course, he realizes that the number in the final moments was the label on the book is at the decimal system. And it was a code in the book. And in the book, there was a breakdown how to get out of paradise, you know, how to make the escape route, how to do all of the things. And so as soon as Xavier gets there, the librarian is right there to try to take his head off. And this is when he tells the story of everything that's happened. While all that's going, we see the therapist at the diner with old girl, who ultimately tells the truth as well. And so they're kind of finding out simultaneously happening. Jane damn run, the super soaker killer. I don't know. She's terrible. I really despise Jane's character because I think if you're going to be this super assassin, it's got to be more than what she's given. And I get it. She's a psychopath with this dry affect and all of that. But I don't know, for whatever reason, her character just never resonated with me. And the idea that you're willing to unalive Xavier's daughter all about a we is insane. So basically that's her thing. Sinatra's like, no, don't hurt the daughter. No, I'll take care of it. I know you don't want your name on it. You don't want your hands dirty. I'll take care of her. But can you get me that we? Sinatra's like, are you BFFR? And the girl's like, all right, bet, I got you. Jane is her own psycho unaliver, and she's going to be problematic in the season to come. And I'm excited to see what they do with her character. I hope they bring out more of what her intrinsic motivation is. It can't be just playing that video game. So I want to know who she is and if Sinatra is really the big bad. Is it Sinatra, or is there someone even over Sinatra who's really pulling the strings? Because end of the episode, we see, you know, Xavier comes, I got your killer, because the librarian goes on a tangent. We have to throw him off the thing. But we get the tea and we're going to figure out how to escape. But before that, he's got to see about his daughter, goes to see Sinatra, unalives her security guard. He's not about to play with you, okay, at this point. And Sinatra says, I didn't mean it for it to go this far. Xavier's like, listen, what we're not about to do is this. Jane comes in, shoots her, all right, and says basically, this wasn't a kill shot. Xavier was gonna blow your freaking head off. Your daughter's home, you're fine. And Sinatra gonna be laid up in the hospital incapacitated. But what we find out at the meeting of all the joint chiefs and everything is that if Sinatra goes down, it's just a matter of time before someone takes the place. We did see the vice president find his eventually. Xavier goes home. His kids are both safe. The daughter is safe, which again, the daughter, there's more to her. And I want to know really what's going on with this, because now we kind of have the open storyline of the mom being alive, the daughter knowing secrets, and now Cal's son starting a revolution on the underground. I'm excited to see how it's all going to pan out. As the episode ends or wraps, we see Xavier boarding a plane. Because clearly he was in the Air Force before. So baby, Xavier can do all the things and let's do all the things. Okay. And so he's now on a quest to see his wife, find his wife, and I guess bring her back to the paradise or see what real life exists on the surface. You guys, again, great story. As Dan Fogelman, you know, he did This Is Us, making us cry every episode. This one hit the spot for me. I wish I would have released it one episode a week so we could have covered it weekly. I would have loved that opportunity, but this was a great watch if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I just think it was great storytelling. And like I said, you're able to close out a season, giving us closure, letting us know what happened from the beginning to now, what was really going on behind the scenes. And yet you leave us wanting more, you know, with Xavier on this plane, ready to go on this quest to find his wife. Y'all, I loved everything about this finale. It was exceptional television. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.